what's up? You tell me your name and where you're from?
My name is Liza and I'm from Aspen, New York.
Okay, Liza. Tell me some of the things you like about New York and Maspet.
Well, I just learned that there's a lot of culture here. A lot of firefighters were stationed at the firehouse 288, which is in this location. And there was a lot of people that were involved in responding to the 9/11 attacks.
Okay. Anything you like about New York City in general?
I like its diversity. Around me, I can see people from different cultures, and I don't think you get that anywhere else but here.
Okay. Talk about some of the things you don't necessarily care for about New York.
I don't care for, I guess, how busy it could be. Fortunately, where I live, it's not that crowded, but the city could get a little crazy. But I guess you get the best of both worlds here.
What's it like being a girl in New York City?
Being a girl in New York City, it is extremely hard, especially at this age. I guess when you're younger, you're not well aware of what's going on, but as you grow older in the city, you realize the madness. You realize how much tougher it is to survive, and I actually think that's one of the best things about the city. It makes you grow beyond your years. But it's definitely hard being a woman in the city.
Growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, like compared to now, how is it different?
Let's see, I miss a lot of things. I feel like even though a lot of things are simpler nowadays, I wish it wasn't. Like back in the day, we were into like pop bands, and now pop bands are not pop bands anymore. Just like being able to go to like Blockbuster, which we had one in this neighborhood and it closed down in the 90s. Now we have Netflix. It's just things like that that I miss about the 90s, but I guess it has made things better now.
Yeah, what are the guys like in New York? What are the guys like?
The guys in New York. Well, I definitely think that there is a New York swag. There is like no matter where like the guy is from, I feel like a New York guy differentiates from any type of guy because they tend to have like this in-your-face attitude in comparison to like, let's say, a Midwestern boy. But there's different kinds of guys, so I haven't found the one, but I'm pretty sure he's out there in this million sea of men.
Okay, good answer. So I know I like your fashion going on. So where do you like to go shopping? Like what areas would you describe to anybody to go to?
Honestly, I think the best areas to go shopping would be SOHO. Because you have like your fashion boutiques and like your high-end clothing, but at the same time you have like, you know, every New Yorker's go-to like Forever 21 and H&M's down there. But then you also get like Michael Kors, and you get like expensive stuff that you can mix and match.
You like sports?
I love sports.
Talk about New York sports, Liza.
Okay, well, let's start with the Jets, which are the best. Even though we are represented by the Giants and the Bills, who no one ever remembers, sadly.
Giants won 2 Super Bowls recently.
Yeah, but the Jets are the best, in my opinion. And then we have the Knicks, and then we have the Islanders. We have pretty much, I think, 2 teams for every sport. But my teams are the Jets, and I will be rooting for them tomorrow against the Eagles. So, yeah. No matter how old you get, there's always something to do here. Whether it's going out to eat, going out to dance, going to a
Cool.
if you have time. Don't do the typical touristy stuff. There's so much like culture that you're missing out on because you're not traveling into like the nooks and crannies of the city. Like, don't go to Times Square. Like, that's just generic. Go to like the Village. Go see like the Stonewall Inn. Go check out the Bodies exhibit. Go down to the seaport. I don't know, come here. But just try to avoid like the tourist stuff.
Let's talk about the 5 boroughs. Have you been to all the 5 boroughs, and can you talk about them?
Yes. I've actually lived in all 5 boroughs. I lived in the Bronx. I've lived on 161st Yankee Stadium. That was interesting. It's always crazy when the Yankees are playing, I can bet you that. I live in Queens currently, born and raised. It's the best of both worlds in Queens, I think, because you get a little bit of the hustle and bustle, but you get the suburban feel. Actually, I lied. I haven't lived in Manhattan. That's because it's too overwhelmingly packed, unfortunately. But you do get everything in the city. I lived in Brooklyn. I lived in Bushwick, actually, in Brooklyn. And that was nice before I started getting gentrified, which I sort of agree with.
Why?
Because I do realize that it does bring some good things into the neighborhood. Unfortunately, it takes gentrification to get a certain neighborhood noticed and need. But at the same time, it's a little unfair because in order to get that good stuff, you have to let go of the original people, which is unfair because they should reap in the benefits too. But that's what's going on there. And what other borough am I missing?
Oh, Staten Island?
Staten Island. I've never lived there, but I stayed there for 2 weeks. And unless you have a car, stay away from Staten Island because I'm not about the boat life. And that's the only way to get off and on and off that island.
All right, last question. What is your opinion of the NYPD and the FDNY? Well, you talked about the FDNY with 9/11, but can you go into a little further detail?
Well, my honest opinion about the NYPD and the FDNY is can't really judge a book by its character. I have some friends that are policemen and they're like the nicest guys. And I mean, everyone at the end of the day is an individual. Like, there's certain things that have been happening in the city with like hate crimes and violence, and unfortunately it has been at the hands of those people. But I mean, you can't really speak for the masses. Unfortunately, it's been certain individuals in those systems. I do respect them. I will always appreciate what they do for us. I just think that certain things need to change, and maybe, I don't know, maybe they can be, I guess, I don't know, I guess in a sense like educated more on like how the community feels about them so they can be aware. Maybe more like community relations programs. Yeah, but I will always hold them to like a higher level of respect.
Good. FDNY. FDNY. The FDNY.
Oh, and the FDNY, well, these guys like give their lives for us.